So today I thought we would talk a little bit about night school assumptions, and I asked for your thoughts on Instagram this time, and if you're on Twitter and missed it, I apologize unreservedly. You have to follow me everywhere to keep up with me, I'm that fast. But I got a ton of responses back because it turns out you have a lot of assumptions, which I love. So I'm gonna delve into my favorites. I've got a cup of coffee and a list. So let's do it. All right, here we go. That's actually one of my favorites because I think it's so astute. And how could she not be? Like, her school is under constant attack, her half-brother is being a complete dick and also trying to kill her, and you know, the woman who is effectively a mother to her, and okay, I can't tell you anymore because you haven't read the latter books, but you know, stuff's happening, it's exhausting, and she's got to run this school with all these rich kids who are a pain, but obviously delightful, and train them in paranormal. So yeah, I am burned out just saying it. Yeah, Isabelle is completely burned out, and in fact, in number 10, which is the book I'm writing set 6 years later, I will give you a spoiler, which is when it begins, Isabelle's not there. So, Sorry. We meet Sylvain's parents, and they're his real parents, and he looks like his mom, and he kind of looks like his dad, and he loves Nick. No. Nonsense. I think that's fair enough. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm not saying it's an older person's tea, but it kind of is an older person's tea. And she only drinks it, which is kind of not obsessive, but it's a real connection. And yeah, I think that makes sense. I think her father, who she loved but was distanced from, probably did drink it, and it connects her. Now, that's not an assumption, in my opinion. That's simply a statement of fact, and one I think we can pretty much all agree with, in some ways, Sylvain fans out there. I will tell you another secret. When I was writing Night School, when I first sat down to write the series, my intention was for Allie to stay with Sylvain. I know, like, I thought that from the beginning. All the way books of the time, so Hush Hush, and the girl always chose the boy we wanted her to choose. And so for Night School, I intended for her to choose Sylvain, and I knew most people would want her to choose Carter, but it would not write. It would not write, and I tried. And it's the darndest thing, because I genuinely believe there is a magic element in fiction. There's a bit of it where the characters just drag their heels and refuse to do what you as a writer want them to do. And that is insane. So lock me up, because I found that a few times. So I would spend hours trying to force the characters to do something they didn't want to do. And then eventually I learned, when that happens, when I get stuck, just write it the way it wants to be written. And in the end, okay, total spoiler, cover your ears if you hadn't read the last couple books. In the end, it had to be, to me, Allie and Carter. It just had to be Allie and Carter. So Callie, forever. Like, I genuinely hadn't thought about it. Their background, I felt like certainly at 16, Sylvain had gone one direction, to indulge being spoiled, to indulge being rich, and to indulge getting anything he wanted. And Carter, who had the much tougher childhood, regardless of the fact that he now lived in the same sort of way, he could not conscience that. Like, that part I completely got, that they diverged at, say, 15, 16. But I love the idea, since Carter was at that school from the time he was a child, and Sylvain was probably there from, say, 8, 9, 10, that they could have once been close. And then, as they got older and Sylvain got more self-indulgent, they split. I mean, that's a good one. Approve. I have trouble with this one, although I respect you for asking it. It's a good question, because sometimes when we're very close friends, it's hard to tell the difference between love and love, if you know what I mean. Like, if you've ever had a close friend of a gender that you're romantically interested in, so in, like, for me, a guy, I have most of my close friends in my life have been men, and these are not romantic close friends, they're just pals. But sometimes those emotions get all muddled up, and you think, am I friends with this person, or do I fancy this person? Like, what is this emotion that I'm feeling? Because the emotions can be quite similar. But in all honesty, I think Rachel always saw Allie as a mate, like as a good friend, as somebody she got, who she could help initially, and then who later she could sort of go to war with, you know, risk her life for. Like, that doesn't have to be romantic love. That is friendship to me, is in a way, especially when you're young, it lasts longer than romantic love. It's more real than romantic love. All of my boyfriends from high school, every single one, and there weren't that many. Where are they now? I have no idea. But I'm Facebook friends with about 5 people I went to high school with, 6, who were my best friends. That was my crew, my posse. I'm still friends with them. We still hang. Like, when I go to America, I still see them, but not boyfriends. Like, that is a thing. What is the saying about gals before something? It's true. Rachel and Nicole will break up because of Raj. Absolutely not. Raj would not care less about whether his daughter liked girls or guys. Raj cares about saving the world, and he wants Rachel to be happy and safe, and beyond that, if she's happy with Nicole and safe with Nicole, Raj would fight to the death for those two to stay together forever. No. My pessimistic friend. Wrong. Ish. I've got a new trilogy coming out in 2020 called Number 10, which is set in the world of night school in real time. So the characters are 6 or 7 years older. The main character is the daughter of the Prime Minister, and she doesn't know anything about Cimmeria Academy. Her mother is in a lot of trouble, and the world's in a lot of trouble, and she's about to find out the truth about a lot of things. So look out for that one. Definitely. That's a thing. That's definitely a thing. There's a lot going on under the surface there, a lot of simmering and brooding, and, you know, those of you who've read all the books know about his childhood. They know what happened to his parents, that he lost them when he was a baby, and that he was raised, you know, by family friends because there was nobody else. And so who wouldn't feel at sea in those circumstances? What person would not have a lot of emotion to suppress? One of the problems he has, I think, is that because he's afraid of losing, he's afraid of loving and trusting. And what happens in book 2 with him and Allie, the controlling her, that is all because he's so terrified of losing her. And that doesn't excuse it, but it explains it. So yeah, oh yeah, there's a lot going on down there. Oh my god, I love this one. I can imagine Wild Child Isabelle. It's why she would understand Allie so well and be so patient with Allie and so, like, firm when she knows the kids are about to get into, like, real trouble this time and they're going too far, and yet she lets them get away with so much. Like, bonfires up at the castle, how do the teachers not know that's happening? Escaping into the woods for, like, the summer splash to all, you know, skinny dip? There's no way she doesn't know that's happening. She knows all of that's happening, and she knows it's part of growing up, and she's fine with it because she did it herself. I'm gonna do one more because there's dozens, and I could do this all day, but we've all got lives. So this is both controversial and a bit risque, and I find it like an interesting assessment because all the way through I've written Isabelle and Raj kind of, in my mind, they had a thing when they were young, because remember, they both went to Cimmeria. So in my mind, they were a couple. They were like Allie and Carter back then, and then for some reason they drifted apart, but there's still this connection. And taking in mind what I said earlier about friends and how you can have friends from the opposite gender or from your preferred gender, you can, but if you once had a thing that went beyond friendship, that does always stay there, doesn't it? Because it's a little temptation, a little curiosity, a little I don't know. So yeah, I'll go with that. I'll say that's true. Regardless of the fact that he's married and has kids and is happy in his life, there can still be a connection. So yeah, I'd say there's a connection. Potential? You'll have to read the new series to find out. So thank you so much for being here today. It was so much fun. I love your assumptions. Your assumptions are brilliant. Write more in the comments below, and in the next time I tackle assumptions, I'll add them to my growing list because I love that you have so many. And in the meantime, subscribe if you haven't. Come watch the other videos. There's so many around here somewhere. Click on them, watch them, they're fun. And comment so that I have things to talk about later, because you guys are where my video ideas come from. And have a fantastic day.